So yeah, I was briefed as a creative. You get briefed to talk about creativity and the sort of how to be more creative. And it's actually quite interesting going through this process because I think you take for granted, in a way, you go to work every day, you sit with teams and you spitball ideas, but when you actually go have to formalize, well, how do you come up with great ideas? And you sit down and you start writing little things you've learned in your career, and then you go, Google what other people have said, and there's a correlation on some thoughts. And when I put together sort of the 10 things that I think can drive creativity within all your agencies, and I think these are actually key things, and it was kind of cool actually reminding myself about these things. I've taken them for granted in a way. So yeah, I'm talking about creativity. More importantly, the how to come up with great ideas. That's a slam dunk. Let's just come up with great ideas. Okay, so I'm calling it 10 ways to find iconic. So I'm going to take you through the 10 different ways. I've got a little summation at the end. I'm going to give you some examples of work that I think kind of speaks to the 10 different points. Then also going to kind of finish off and talk a little bit about craft and sort of integrated campaigns as well. The first point, I think, is actually the most important because this happens at the briefing stage. And it's reconceptualize the problem. And this is the one where the first thing I wrote down, because it's the one that I actually need to do more of myself, is you're given a brief. On the brief, it says the same single-minded proposition. Bridget's laughing in the corner, shows what I'm talking about. Same single-minded proposition as the previous brief, as the previous brief, as the previous brief, as the previous brief, as the previous brief. 4 years, 4 and a, and you expect it to come up with different ideas all the time. Keep it fresh, keep it fresh, keep it fresh. So maybe we shouldn't be conceptualizing of the SMP. Maybe we should be interrogating the SMP at an earlier stage. And that's the creative director, the strategist, the client service people sitting together going, listen, this is the same problem. We're keeping these familiar problems, familiar briefs. Let's interrogate to find an interesting problem, because when you find an interesting problem, my God, it's going to be so much easier to find an interesting solution. So it's tackling these things at a brief stage. I confess we don't do it enough ourselves. As I said, this was a self-learning for me as well. And I think a brand that kind of probably interrogated the problem pretty well was Dove. And I think it's because they completely switched things on their head and decided to take on the beauty industry. That's a bold thing to do, but they looked at, if you think about the beauty industry as a whole, I mean, it's pretty much the same. They completely tackled it. But not only did they do that, is that every single campaign, every single idea they brought out since coming up with Real Beauty has basically knocked it out the park. So, this is what they kind of launched a few years ago.
Younger, smaller, lighter, fuller, tighter, thinner, softer. It really works.
So they tackled the problem from an interesting perspective, and now they've got hit campaign after hit campaign. I'm sure you're familiar with Real Beauty Sketches, which cleaned up, I think it was last or the year before. And this just launched now, which is Dove Legacy, but it plays with the same self-esteem and the thought that mothers often, they have issues with their body, and ironically, the kids start developing the same issues. So what they did was they asked moms to write down what don't you like about yourself. They asked the kids exactly the same thing, and there was this immediate correlation. You pass down your self-esteem. So they're finding new ideas within the same insight. This is the latest work.
I worry that she's inherited, oh gosh.
My number one hate on my body is
My eyes are wonky, my bingo arms. I have very big legs. I'm not keen on my legs, but I just try to focus on the fact that they're very strong and that I'm a very good runner.
I have a belief that the fact that I smile a lot has a lot to do with why my skin stays nice. Brilliant.
Oh, that's Phoenix's list. Okay. Eyes, we don't like our eyes. Oh, she said her thighs too, didn't she? She said her legs. We both don't like our nose. I think don't like my arms, and she doesn't like her arms either.
So I've put hips and sort of bum area, sort of upper thighs, and Lily's put her legs as well.
I have tried to make my girls feel good. Well, I did say to her, I don't like this thing of, these body parts of mine, and I think that's why she probably picked it up.
Yeah, looking at it, she really picks up a lot of my ways. She does.
Just be confident with yourself and just realize how you can influence your child. Have a look, those are the things that I like.
Bum.
Yeah, I do like my bum.
I like my face because it's smiley.
Legs, you wrote legs. Why do you like your legs?
Because I go for running.
Really? Is that why you like them? Self-worth and beauty, it is an echo. It can echo from me to them, and then from them to others. Be happy. Just be happy.
How I feel about myself really affects how she feels about herself.
Why do you like your mole then?
Because it's the same as yours.
So, I mean, that is like the fourth alliteration. They've kept finding new ways to tell different stories for some time now. That's because they've got into rich territory. That's because they looked at the problem differently. The second, which is a bugbear, never settle on your first idea. I hate when I sit with teams and they kind of, so we got this, and it's, what do you think? Moment of silence, and come up with 10 more. Maybe your first idea will end up being the best, but at the very least, you'll know there was something better out there. If you think you got the best idea in the world, and you've gone and thought of 10 to 15 others, and it's not as good as your first, so your first must be damn good. But at least you've done the work, you've investigated it. Something we do quite often. And I understand in some cases, it's a brief out in a day, or a brief out in 2, 3, 4 days. This is something we can apply to the sort of bigger jobs and bigger campaigns where we can just push ourselves a little harder. My favorite, embrace the absurd. Don't dismiss the ideas you think might be too crazy. They often turn out to be the freshest ideas. And I think it's often in reviews where you go, oh, that's funny. Make a great meme. Never an ad. And it gets pushed to one side. But you go, you look at the can reel year in and year out, and these ads pop up, and they're, what? And they're winning gold, silvers and bronzes, because they move out of the conventional space immediately. And it's, it's something that's been popping up for years. I mean, this is Combos, it's a few years old, but I imagine presenting it to...
Mom?
What's your problem?
I think I have a fever.
Come here. Ah, you're just hungry. Here, have some of these. They got pizza stuff in them. Hit the lights on the way out. Love ya!
Combos, what your mom would feed you if your mom were a man.
Insane. But great. And they did about, I don't know how many ads. There were 4 or 5 for launch, but they also did some great radio. But it's completely left field. It often can be a challenging sell, but worth selling. And I saw these at Cannes this year for very small loans by Nimble. What? You know, but so fresh and entertaining. And we also got to think beyond the fact that, you know, it's not just TV ads. You want these pieces of communication to go viral. So it's got to be entertaining. It can't just be hard sell, hard sell, hard sell. How are you going to get people to go, oh, I'm going to share that?
Have you got a minute? We ran a few tests and it looks like your dog is human in the costume.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive.
But I've had Minty for years.
Yep. 3 years and 54 days according to the costume rental agreement we found.
I can't afford that.
Why don't you nimble it?
I don't know that word.
Nimble do fast little loans. Once approved, you get your money into 60 minutes.
Thank you, Doctor. You're a bad dog. Yes, you are. You guys are a bad dog. He's texting.
Nimble, smart little loans, because unexpected happens. Apply now at nimble.com.au.
Nuts, but unforgettable. And that's the kind of stuff that we can push ourselves to do on certain brands. Number 4, and I think it's a way we work, it's diversify your experiences. Breaking cognitive patterns leads to more flexibility and creativity. Sitting behind a desk day in and day out as a creative person is not necessarily going to speed the process up. Go do something. Go live. Life experiences, living, doing things inform great creativity. I think great creativity comes from human truths. You have to be a human, you have to live. Very, very simple. Couldn't find an ad that spoke to it, though, because it's more about a working thing. But I've got a feeling a dad might have come up with this idea. Live it. Number 5 on the hit list. Diversify the people you work with. One of the copywriters came to me about 6 months ago, and he said that his art director doesn't like asking people what they think of the work outside of the review setups, because then she said she'd feel like she failed, like she's not cracking it herself. They're juniors. They were put together a year ago, if that. And they're asking like, you know, no, we must do it ourselves. We must just care about ourselves. You can't work like that. You can't work in a bubble. And recently, and actually it happened last week, they were working on a peach sleep mosquito repellent, and they're working on Cross and Blackwell mayonnaise. And what I did was, I gave them no choice but to diversify the people they work with. I asked a senior team to pop in there and sit with them for an hour a day, and asked them to pop in with the team and work together. I got them completely out of their comfort zone. If we get stuck in this comfort zone, I like working with so-and-so and so-and-so, because you all think the same. What are you going to get? Same. You're not going to get anything interesting. Put a team with a person who only thinks in digital. You know what I mean? And something amazing will happen. You won't get a TV ad. So, like mine, same way of thinking, you tend to get less diversity in the ideas. here's another example. It's a campaign that we've done, and I got a lot of abuse on this from the CDs. You don't know, it was Shane and Vince. I was kind of filling in as the ECD at the time on student flights, and they pulled me in because what happened was two teams had the same idea. One team cracked the sort of visual execution, one team cracked the line. So they came, what do we do? So we just take their line and put it. I said, no, you put both teams together. If they crack the line, brilliant. If they crack the execution, brilliant. You put them together. And it was huge tension throughout the whole process. But I didn't care because they might not necessarily work well together. At the end of the day, magic happened. There was tension throughout the process. It's not ever going to be easy. And I keep them on that sort of that steady line, and we ended up with a really cool campaign for student flights. And I'll show you the TV and the print and the one of the radio executions. The radios went to Cannes and won a silver. The TV and the posters have only gone to Lurie's, and everything that's been entered so far on it has won. So it's actually doing really, really well. But also the fact, in terms of people, beyond just the creatives, we got TV organized, the TV to be shot at the back of a bigger job. So there were people coming client service who phoned in the client saying, oh, we need to sign off now because you're about to go. This was a truly big collaborative effort for a very, very simple campaign. So I'll show you the two TVCs. First one is Grandma. So the whole insight's about, this is for student flights, is that, you know, get the traveling done when you're young, because you don't want to be in that situation when you're older. This was the second one, and all done in one take. So, you know, the client didn't have a lot of money, so we kept it very, very simple. We focused on the styling, we focused on the cast, and we focused on a location that we could dress adequately.
I wanna lay you down and give it to you in your neck. You wanna lay me down and play around. I see you looking like my big fatty cow, and you can rub it in between my cheeks. Oh, look at me, I didn't touch my feet.
And then, you know, we were questioning whether we should, well, it's such a simple thing, should we do print as well and shoot it separately? And I said, well, there's no money, shoot it on the back of the TV ad. They literally shot these two posters in 15 minutes each. It was like before they were moving the set and out of there. But you do it, and you can end up with some beautiful, beautiful posters as well. And they too won. So it's thinking a bit bigger and a bit broader and taking your opportunities. And then the radio, which is also done. The radio actually Silver Can won a gold in craft at Lurie's, and also if I go back to the TV, only 8 single campaign TV ads won at Lurie's this year, and that was one of them. 8 in total for the whole year. So this is the radio, which is nuts.
Hello?
Are you ready?
What am I ready for? Is that legal?
To get off to the party adventure of a lifetime! Ibiza, baby!
I have no idea what the adventure of a lifetime is like.
Beaches full of young, like-minded party animals. DJs, dance floors, devilish behavior.
I cannot. Not
club
possible.
anthems such as
Wait.
And who can forget the old-time classic? Would you like to get on a plane and travel to Ibiza?
No, I wouldn't.
Yes!
No,
Yes!
no, I don't want to go. Please, I must get my
hell's sake, please don't phone again. Goodbye.
Travel before it's not fun anymore. Ibiza Tours for students from only 5,600 Rand. Visit studentflights.co.za. T's and C's apply.
That was one of three. Yeah, all got quite rave reviews. And then number 6, selling the idea is everyone's responsibility. Give the idea all the support that it may see the light of day. Tough sales need a lot of preparation and often all the heavy hitters. And that means getting everyone behind it. You know, sometimes you're going to make clients uncomfortable because it's a little bit out of what they're expecting. Clients often get used to expecting certain things. Then you pull in everyone who can help you get that idea past that first hurdle. Because without getting it past that first hurdle, race over. I just got a couple of ads that I think might have been a challenge. This one for Taco Bell. I mean, it must have been quite an interesting process of a tough sell, but maybe not so because it was done in the States and they're maybe a little bit more. But, you know, it would have had its challenges.
It's not surprising these guys are loving Taco Bell's new waffle taco.
That's good. Eggs, sausage, a little syrup. What else more could you ask for, right?
What is surprising is who they are.
I'm Ronald McDonald Jr., and this is Ronald McDonald III.
I am Ronald McDonald.
I'm Ronald McDonald, and I'm from Oak Ridge, North Carolina.
You like the waffle taco?
The bacon is really, really good.
I'm
Ronald McDonald.
And I love Taco Bell's new breakfast.
Can you imagine the little discussions on that one? Another crazy one. I just put it in there because I like it. No other reason.
Oh, I didn't see it coming, but it came in a can. Now my sweet son's sprayed into a man. Mine too, and hey, we know just who to blame. When our sons have fun with women and misbehave. Old Spice, played a man on my son. Now he's kissing all the women and his chores aren't done. He was just my little sweetie, tiny fingers, hands and feeties. Now he's touching, kissing, feeling all the women because Old Spice played a man on my son. Now he smells like a man, and they treat him like one.
You know what? That's probably the antithesis in a way, and that was probably an easy sell. Purely because what that agency has got their clients used to. The guy on the horse. You know, so that was a success. Once you got that first success, boom, 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 client gets used to it. They get used to this type of work. You just got to get them past that initial phase, and that means getting everyone behind each other. Number 7 on the hit list, involve key individuals in the process sooner. This will really help with point number 6. People who have participated in the creative stage are likely to be more motivated to carry out the group's decisions. It's not, you know, you keep the idea to yourself and you don't, I'll show you just before the presentation and I'm supposed to believe in it. You haven't involved me sooner. Production hasn't seen it, you know, and then awkward tension happens. Get the key people that you want on this journey with you involved sooner. It'll really, really, really help. Then we get to the more hard-hitting points. Number 8, push yourself harder. Lazy will never have a great idea. Obsessed, hungry, can do as will. This comes down to having the right people a lot of the time. When I first got into advertising, I was kind of told this little story about, like, I'm not looking for people that are 100% talented or 95% talented and 5% hard work. Can't do shit with them. Give me somebody who's 5% talent, who's 95% hard work. That person's going to go somewhere because that talent will only grow. The other talent will be sitting there thinking about starting coffee shops and other things. So it's the mentality. You have to keep pushing. And that comes down a lot to the individuals, the teams, to the management. It's an individual thing, but it's also a collective as well in total. This is a personal thing, but I think it's right. Less big brainstorming sessions. I've seen, and I've been in so many of these where it's just la-di-da, the whole thing. Social loafing. So you're going to go, well, I'm the quiet person, I'm really smart, but I'm the quiet guy. Those people who love talking and love being heard, who have nothing really valuable to share, are the ones dominating the brainstorm session. What tends to happen is you get this loss of focus during this 1 hour, 2 hour session. And then it's this evaluation apprehension. So you're sitting there and you're the fifth team to present, and this happens with creators. They've got low self-esteems, all of them, except me. A little bit. They sit there going, are my ideas really good enough? Maybe I won't share that one. And then maybe that's the idea this creator is not sharing. Rather isolate groups, understand the mentality and the sort of energy of the people you're working with. Because sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes it does, depending on the people, but I think less of that. And last but not least, get off your ass. Get moving, make it happen, whatever the cost. This is probably, I'm going to show you a thing we did this year that's also doing pretty well in shows, called the Tiger Alphabet, and I'll show it for this very reason. This brand, Tiger Brands, they don't ever market themselves. They never market themselves here. They market all the different brands. That's what they use to their structure. The only time they ever kind of market themselves is through this sort of social responsibility. They feed something like 7 million meals a year into schools. Never talk about it. You'll never see an ad. You go onto one of their sites, or the Tiger Foundation, they keep it very hush. So this became a challenge, because I'm selling an idea that kind of pulls all your brands together, which is not something you're used to. And it was a journey, and we piloted it in 3 schools, and they came back to us recently. They loved the idea. We're going to repurpose it because they don't want it as part of a curriculum, but they wouldn't mind it as an extramural. So what are other things we want to do on top of the alphabet? Games, etc., etc. So we've worked with them to kind of, through their niggles, to come to a place where we actually can take this idea and expand it.
Across South Africa, 65% of learners cannot read. And in most cases, naming the letters of the alphabet is a challenge. With a lack of proper foundations in literacy, and with most teachers not having the right educational tools, the majority of children struggle throughout school. But what if you could take brands that South Africans love and see every day, brands that they're so familiar with before they even start school, and use them to make an actual difference, like teach kids to read and write. So we created the Tiger Alphabet, an alphabet made up of South Africa's most loved brands, from the largest FMCG company in Africa, Tiger Brands. Using the first letter from each brand, we created an entire alphabet. From books that doubled up as classroom wraps, to posters, alphabetical blocks, key cards and stickers, we rolled out the alphabet in schools that needed it the most.
They match the picture with the letter, and it becomes easier for them to recall or to pronounce the word.
It's changing the way our children are learning to read.
We also took it outside classrooms and created science in and around their communities. The Tiger Alphabet is becoming an institution that will have a massive positive impact on our children's ability to read and write for years to come. Plans are already underway to roll it out into more schools in the hope that our country's iconic brands can help teachers educate future children their ABCs.
So let's just summarize those first 10 points with 4 more. Don't criticize. I find this often, we don't know how to give feedback to creators on work. We criticize. It's got to be constructive. It's got, and I think you're trying to give confidence. So we often are critical of some of the in brainstorms, but reviews and stuff like that. I think it's important to be, if you're gonna criticize, it has to be from a positive space. It has to be one where I try to make it better. Focus on quality. I'm going to get to that my next little section now about craft. My goodness, it's the most important thing. It's no use having a great idea. It's executed like boop. Combine and improve ideas produced by others. This comes back to that collaborative effort. You've got a whole team around you. It's not just creatives. You've got people who've got years of experience on production or building stuff or TV or radio. There are people around you that you can pull in to help improve the ideas through execution as well. Write down any idea that comes to mind, no matter how wild. It goes back to my embrace the absurd. Then my biggest bugbear, craft my work. I saw this. This is a 2008 Cannes shortlist. Very smart, power now with air conditioning as standard. Just take note that it was a 2008 Cannes shortlist. This is 2014, Cannes Silver, same idea. Which one looks better? One is infinitely forgettable, because none of the judges picked up that 6 years ago the same idea was done. But the craft is what took it over there. This is now memorable, it's beautiful. And I don't see it like, most creators, oh, it's been done before, typical creators. This is where I see it. Opportunity lost. I'll be upset that they did my idea better. Maybe I should have done it right the first time. That would never have happened. That is the power of crafting your work, and it's the time that you've got to give to it. Make time for craft is often treated as the poor cousin to the idea. This is a tough one. I mean, this is where a lot of your time is spending. You can have an idea in a week, but then you've got, we only got like 2 weeks to put the ad together. I think it's up to us to actually make space for the jobs that we want to profile, for the clients who want to profile, to find time for it. And it's most often the difference between mediocre and iconic. I often I very rarely see great ideas executed poorly that go to the top of Cannes. But I see really bad ideas crafted beautifully go to the top of Cannes. Just saying. That's the importance of craft. This is one of the ads that I think this is my favorite craft piece of 2014. I can actually watch it over and over again. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. It must have taken an age. And it's an animation piece. And, this animation does take a lot of time. It's a big challenge because when in the process, you can't go back. You've got to keep going forward and you've got to take clients on that journey. And this has been a long journey. But where Scarecrow ended up for Chipotle was beautiful.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. Compare with pure imagination, living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
last point is create integrated campaigns. I think we're also guilty of it. We do a lot of these one-offs. This really nice billboard idea, little digital piece here, one-off TV ad. And this comes down fundamentally to the way we actually start the process. So it's the big idea of the TV ad. We often get stuck in this TV world, and we're just as guilty. We just sit there and we go, here's a TV ad, and that idea goes into radio and a print ad, and then what else do we do? And there's an idea I can't share now, but I've heard in the agency, I heard it yesterday morning for the first time, and I think it's the best idea I've heard since the Zimbabwean. Because I didn't go, oh, that's the TV ad. I went like, sure, I can see it on social media. It'll be on the news. I wasn't thinking of conventional media. And that was the power of the idea. I wasn't going straight to a TV ad. And I think we have to interrogate the way the process we should go through. Even if the brief says I want a TV ad, rather don't think of the TV ad first. Rather just go big idea, and then maybe it's like, I've got a better way of using your money. That you don't have to spend money on TV. It's this. I think it'll go viral. It'll be PR. It'll be, and I think we got to challenge ourselves and then challenge our clients when we disrupt those briefs. And this just for me was the best. This is the last thing I'm showing. The best sort of big idea integrated campaign of 2014. It just knocked my socks off. It's actually one of my favorites of all time. And because it comes with a very, very simple insight. And yes, they did TV, but it wasn't hinging just on the TV.
Christmas is all about giving, sharing and caring. But at Harvey Nichols, the UK's leading luxury fashion retailer, it's all about me, me, me. To help our customers out, we invented a new line of products for the festive season, the Sorry I Spent It on Myself gift collection. A range of budget presents that we created specially so people could spend less on others and more on themselves. We made the range available at all Harvey Nichols stores across the UK, as well as online. Must-have items included an elastic band gift set, a waterproof sink plug, and a bag of gravel. We even produced a Christmas lunch in a tin and boxes of crackers, complete with hats and jokes, but not gifts or bangs, obviously. And for the truly selfish, we created a free downloadable Christmas card. We announced the range to the public with a print campaign and a promotional film that was seeded online.
Christmas lunch in a tin with most of the trimmings.
By the time of the launch, the anticipation was huge. But just to be sure, we released a commercial both online and in cinemas on the day.
Elastic bangs.
Elastic bands from Harvey Nichols, Dad.
I do hope you haven't spent all your precious money on me. Naughty boy. Paper clips.
What is it?
It's a sink plug.
The internet went crazy for it, as did the media. Despite only having a fraction of the budget of their competitors, it was the most controversial Christmas campaign of the year. Most importantly of all, the customers loved it too. The entire range, just short of 20,000 products, sold out within 3 days, and Harvey Nichols went on to have one of their best Christmases to date.
Thank you.